Hello, this is Professor Baswai. Today we'll learn about hyperbolas. This is intermediate algebra level. So it's going to be very simple. We are going to learn how to draw the asymptotes, how their slopes work. We are going to find the center. And then we are going to find the vertices, and nothing very fancy. So let's look at the first equation. If I have, the hyperbolas, by the way, are the only ones that have a negative in the middle. So when you see a negative between x squared and y squared at some point, right in front of negative x squared or right in front of y squared, that means you have a hyperbola. Because all the other ones, the circle and ellipse, do not have that. They are squared, but they do not have a negative in front of either x squared or y squared. The other thing is, for the parabola, you do not have one of them squared, like y is by himself or x is by herself. All right, I don't know if it's him and her, but let's go. Now, if your hyperbola is in this form, x is first and then this negative is in front of y, this is what it looks like. It's going to be centered at HK. That's easy to remember. Here's HK. Now, what it's going to have is, it's going to have some asymptotes. And here are your asymptotes. Okay? Now, what's going to happen is, this thing is under x, and this thing is under y. The slope of the positive one is going to be b over a, because this is under the y, rise over run. And the slope of this one is going to be negative of that, b over a as well. All right? Now, when the x is first, that's going to be opening sideways. And it's going to asymptote to these asymptotes. So one way to remember that is when x, and it kind of cuts the x-axis, I don't know, on both ways. And just kind of remember, x is first, and it's going to open to the sides, like that. Okay, now one thing you have to remember, the distance between this and the vertex is going to be this number, a. Okay? And that's all we're going to do. We're not going to worry about focus right now. Now, let's look at the next one. Now, this one opens up and down. This is how it works. This is a hyperbola because it's minus. And it's going to be centered at h. K, again, h is with x. And k. It's going to have the asymptotes. All right. Now, this one's going to open up and down. Now, let's look at the slopes of the asymptotes. The slope is, this is under y, so it's going to be b. This slope is a. Again, this one is the negative of that, b, a. All right. Now, this opens up and down, so it's going to look like that. Now, what is this distance? The vertex to the center. And that's the vertical distance, remember? That one is going to be b. In the same way here, b. All right? Now, you can do most of your hyperbolas. If you want to get more stuff, if you want to get these things, what you need to do for the x-intercepts, you set your y to 0 and then solve. And if you want to get your y-intercepts, you set your x to 0 and solve. But this is going to be enough for you to draw a rough picture of your hyperbola. Okay, well, let's look at this one. If I were to draw this one, what will it look like? It is centered at 1, negative 2. How do I know? This is just like in ellipses. This is after negative. This one is a tricky one. This is like y minus 2. Oh, I see. So it is centered at 1, negative 2. If you don't understand this, don't worry about it. think about it. This is negative, it's positive. It's positive, it's negative. All right. So it's centered at 1, negative 2. Now let's do that. And now what is the slope of my asymptotes? This is under y, so it is 3, 2. This is under x, 2, slope. So it's going to be plus minus. So can I draw that? I hope so. 1, negative 2, 1, negative 2, right here. Now I'm supposed to draw a 3 to 2 slope. 3 to 2 slope from here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Here it is. Same way. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, here are my asymptotes. And now what did I learn? This one is going to be at 1, negative 2. And I know that this thing is going to open up because x is first. It's going to be to the right 2 steps. Okay, 1, 2. Here it is. And 1, 2, 1, 2. Here it is. Okay, so what are the coordinates of those? This one, this was at 1, negative 2. When you went to the left 2 steps, it's going to be 0 to negative 1, negative 1, negative 2. And this one I went to the right 2 steps. That was 1. Now it became 1. 1 plus 2, that's 3. Ta-da! Here's my hyperbola. That wasn't too hard. Let's do another one. Opens up and down. All right. Again, I start with my x. This is negative, so it's going to be positive. This is positive, it's going to be negative. So this is my center. What are the slopes of my asymptotes? This is under the y, so it's 2 to. This is under the x, 3. So my slope is going to be plus minus 2/3. So can I do that? And this is going to open up and down. Here we go. 1, negative 2, 1, negative 2. Now I'm going to draw a slope of 2/3. 2 up, 1, 2, 3 to the right. This one is fat. Again from here, 2 up, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 to the left. I wish I had a ruler. Okay, and this one is going to open up and down. Let's see. This is under the y, so it's going to be 2 up, 1, 2, here we go, and 2 down, 1, 2, here we go. And it's going to be opening like that, kind of fat. Very good. If I label this thing, this one's 1, negative 2. 2 down, so the x is going to be the same. 2 down, it's going to be negative 4. 2 up, it's going to be 0. Very good. Ta-da, we're done. Okay. Well, how do I complete the squares? Now, how do I know that this is the hyperbola? There's a negative in front of x. Oh, okay, great. So this is where you start. You group your y's and x's, and then take your leading coefficient out. Only from the y terms and only from the x terms, and don't worry about the constant right now. Here we go. So I'm going to take the 9 out. When I take the 9 out, that's 4 times 9. Here we go. Now what am I going to do? It's a negative. I take the 4 out, but there's nothing to take it out. It's actually like this. X minus 0 squared, because it is this, the x-coordinate of my center is 0. And then I still have a 0. So all I need to do is just complete the squares in this parentheses. So how do I do that? I look at 4, divide by 2, and then you square it. So I'm missing a 4. If I put a 4 here, it's not just putting 4, because when I put a 4, actually I put a 36. 4 times 9 is 36. I can't just put 36 in there because I feel like it. I need to put a 36 on the right. And let's write it as completed squares. Watch. Y plus 2 squared minus 4x minus 0 squared equals 36. Now, I don't want that 36 in there. What do I want? I want 1. Well, divide everything by 36 then. What are you going to get? You're going to get y plus 2 squared. 9 divided by 9 is 1. 36 divided by 9 is 4. This is actually 2 squared. Minus. Now, this one is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 36 divided by 4 is 9. 9 is 3 squared. And you end up with 1 on the right. Okay, now it looks like a hyperbola. Where is it centered? It's centered at 0, negative 2. Okay. I'll do it here. 0, negative 2. 1, 2. Here it is. And what is its the slopes of its asymptotes? This is under 2, so the slope is going to be the one under y, 2, the one under x, 3. So it's plus minus. So I go 2 up, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Kind of fat. And then you have 2 up, 1, 2, 3. Kind of fat. All right. What kind of hyperbola is this? Okay, this is going to be opening up and down. And how fat is this? It's going to be 2 fat. 1, 2, here, vertex. 1, 2, here, vertex. And you just simply put it down. If you want to put the coordinates, this is going to be 0, negative 2. This is going to be 0, 0. And this is going to be 0, negative 2, negative 2, negative 4. That's pretty good. All right. The last step may be, they're not giving you an equation. They're giving you a description. What's the possible equation for hyperbola with a horizontal axis? What does that mean? Hyperbola with a horizontal axis. Hyperbola with horizontal axis. Hyperbola with a vertical axis. Okay? So horizontal axis, vertical axis. So you learned another terminology. Horizontal axis, centered at 2, 3. Okay? So it's going to be centered, and with one is asymptotes has 2/3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And for hyperbola with a horizontal axis, so it's going to do this. Does it make sense? So how am I going to do that? How am I going to write that? So since it's opening sideways, remember x comes first. So it's going to be x minus 2 squared because it's centered at 2, 3. And then you're going to have a minus. I'm going to deal with this in a second. And you're going to have y minus 3 squared. I'm going to deal with this in a second. And then on the right, it has to be 1. And remember, slope of 2/3. That means the 2 has to go under y, and then 3 has to go under x. All right, so you can actually deal with the hyperbolas any which way at this point. You can have horizontal axis hyperbolas, vertical axis hyperbolas, opening sideways, opening up and down hyperbolas. It's an unofficial name for them. You know how to calculate the center. You know how to draw the asymptotes. and you know how to put the vertex in. So that will get you started. If you want to go a little deeper, we are going to have to go to college algebra. We're going to learn how to do focus and things like that. But not at this level, so you're all done for now.